Hello, 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 good people. Welcome to Happy, Healthy, Whole with Sharea. I am Sharea Farmer. I am a licensed clinical social worker and the owner of RS Counseling and Wellness Center, and hopefully the host that you're here to see. Um, Today, I am continuing our series on Mind Matters, which is just kind of a reintroduction of some of the areas that I talk about on this channel since we have such a new following and we have more subscribers, and I want to make sure that this is engaging. So like and subscribe and share any video that you find helpful with to others and with others. I appreciate you. That being said, what's today's topic? I know last week was self-care, but this week is stress and anxiety. I talked about mental health and the difference a little bit between mental health and mental illness earlier as our first basic 101 with mental health and the things that I focus on. And so I am really here to talk today about managing stress and anxiety and how important it is for us to take this topic serious because each of us can experience both stress and anxiety. Well, someone was talking to me about anxiety and how possibly they don't believe that people have it and this, and that. And I was like, oh, why did they do this to me? I just want to enjoy this moment like everybody else. But I'm here for it. Sometimes I got to be the one to possibly say, wait a second, anxiety is real. And although you may not understand or see how it's experienced, I can witness it in you almost every experience that we have. But I say that because many times what happens is that we are so wrapped up in thinking of it as a negative that we don't realize that most of us have what is literally stress that can lead to anxiety or stress and anxiety, right? So, first, let's talk about the difference between stress and anxiety. Stress is usually a response to an external factor like a tight deadline at work or a upcoming event like a wedding or a job interview, right? So a big life change. It's about this natural way our bodies respond to pressure versus anxiety, on the other hand, is more internal. This is where it is going to kind of feel like this ongoing feeling of worry or fear that you can't catch up, that you're not doing something right, that things are going to, you're going to be mistreated. These are examples, right? Where really you have this ongoing worry or fear that can hang around way beyond just one moment. And sometimes you just can't some even break it or think differently, quote unquote. While with stress, it can be a one-offer. It can be sometimes even helpful to have a small dose of stress to keep you focused or get you moving in an area or motivated in an area. It's when it becomes chronic stress or ongoing anxiety that it can cause like a real toll on our minds and our physical health as well, because we know that stress impacts our physical health when we are dealing with any form of illness or possible disease. That's why it's important to be able to manage and have tools to respond to either of them. And I say that because the reality is, whether we're talking stress or anxiety, having coping strategies or tools is going to be helpful. So before we go into those strategies and tools, because I can sometimes go straight to that, I want to just give some I guess, signs in a sense for either of those. And when we think about signs for stress and anxiety, we think about some of the physical signs like headaches, muscle tension, rapid heartbeat, warm chest, stomach aches, um, just a lot of different physical signs that we sometimes will contribute to other things, but it might be related to what we feel around anxiety and stress. I always say when I teach a class or before I teach a class, there's this level of stress I get and my stomach starts to feel like it's getting upset. It's not that I am uncertain or don't know what I'm doing. It's that literally every time I started or prepare for a new class, that feeling of um anticipation, worry, what will happen, what will be next, makes my stomach sort of irritated. And so that becomes a response to what could be good stress and or expected stress, right? Emotional signs might be things like irritation, feeling overwhelmed, constantly worried, thinking too much, having intrusive thoughts around thinking too much in areas where I'm never going to succeed. This won't work out. I can't do this. Like really having these thoughts that can become so overwhelming that you don't know what to do. But then some behavioral things or signs might be trouble sleeping, avoiding responsibility, not having motivation, or even snapping on others. Like literally being a little so irritated, because that's the emotional part, that the behavior causes you to snap on someone, right? If any of these sound familiar, the reality is we don't need to worry because you're not alone. Most of us could find one of those examples that I just gave and say, yeah, that's happening to me. That's why we're here to talk about some practical tools or tips that could be helpful for you. If you've been here with me for a while, I've really, really, really went into mindfulness for one of our series. And so please go back and check those videos out if you can. But I'm going to really be general in these next couple ones around tips, even though in the past I've done full out videos on some of them. My first one is going to be breathe. Deep breathing can be helpful. One of the simplest but most effective tools of managing stress and anxiety is deep breathing. When we're stressed and our anxiety, our breathing tends to become really shallow, like which is something that we know happens, but sometimes aren't really ready to respond to. And so what we're going to learn to do is to take a few deep breaths, slowly breathe, and calm our nervous system. This helps us to be more centered and grounded in the moment. So, literally demonstrating that from the perspective of breathing. So, let's try it together because I know that there's some of us who are like, I do breathe. I'm breathing right now. I want you to breathe deeply through your nose for 4 counts. I want you to hold for 4 counts. And then I want you to exhale through your mouth for 4. You're going to repeat that a few times, and then I want you to notice your body start to relax. So let's do that together. And this is really just a 4-4-4 breathing technique. All right, so let's go. Deep breath in through our nose. Deep breath, hold it, and exhale. Now, I'm talking, so I didn't really do it right. So I am actually going to demonstrate it and not talk, but I'll go nose, mouth. Right? So when I'm at my mouth like this, I'm holding. And when I'm at my mouth like this, I'm going to exhale. All right? You ready? 4-4-4. Ready? Keep breathing. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Nose, mouth, hold, exhale. Right? In through my nostril for 4. Simple. Now, I want you to repeat that. And I'm actually not, I'm in my comfy room right now for these videos this week or last couple weeks. And so because I record them in a day, a couple of them anyway. So I don't have my feet on the ground. I would normally tell you put your feet on the ground if you're not able to lay flat on your back, right? So I put your feet on the ground so you can feel grounded. Take that same 4-4-4 and breathe. So you're going to breathe in, inhale, hold, exhale for counts of 4. I'm going to do it one more time and then I'm going to move us on because I do have just a few little things actually. So again, 4-4-4. Inhale. Oh yeah. All right. So that one I really felt. So some of them, when you really get it, you got it, right? You could do this anywhere. You could do it in your car, at your desk. You could do it in a crowded room. Just do it quickly in order to maybe just regulate your body and your nervous system to kind of just de-stress in the moment. You don't got to be perfect at it, but you do have to try. right? Another great focusing grounding tip that I'm sure I've done on one of my videos before is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe. And this one really is a grounding technique that looks at our five senses. It's going to be five things around me that I can see. It's going to be four things that I can touch. And it's going to be three things that I can hear, two things that I can smell, and one thing I can taste. Right. So I am going to demonstrate that really quickly because I still have two more, I think. And I don't want the videos to be too long. So five things that I can see in my space. I actually step this one up and try to do colors. So I might say five blue things. I might say the blue top on my water bottle, the blue DVD that I can see from here. Yes, my husband still has DVDs. Anyway, the blue yoga pad that's in my room here. So that's three. I need two more. The blue portion of my license for LCSW, and then the blue that is represented on these disinfectant wipes that I have in my room. So just like that, that's five things in the room. When I'm doing that, I'm actually starting to distract myself. So now four things that I can touch. I can touch my water bottle. I can touch my microphone, my keypad, and I can touch my hair. Right? So those are four things. Three things that I can hear. I can hear the cars outside. I can hear my laptop. I can hear my phone. And those are my three things. Two things that I can smell. I can smell my perfume. Ah, smells beautiful lavender. I can smell, oh, I can actually smell my V8 water. So my last thing is one thing that I can taste. I'm actually going to take the last sip of my water and it tastes like strawberry and kiwi. So there you go. That's an example. Now, I jokingly did that, but you want to do that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as quickly as possible, in a sense where you're distracting yourself and you're pulling yourself away from what might be causing the anxiety or stress and bring yourself mindfully to the present and in the moment. This is especially helpful when our anxiety gets us to kind of swirling in our heads or thinking too much. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I also like to add with my clients an affirmation after that. So we do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then a feeling that I would like to feel. I am present in my body. I am allowed to be free. I am non-judgmental of myself. Just an example of affirmation you can do at the end. The next one is managing your thoughts with cognitive reframing. Now, let me talk about this in a sense that I'm going to give this as an example. However, it can be really helpful to work this through with, say, a professional that you might work with that's specifically looking at cognitive reframing and techniques that are specific to your areas of negative thoughts and patterns, right? So when we're kicking this one in, I'm going to give a general example, but getting those very specific ones for your situation can be extremely helpful and beneficial when you're reframing and helping you to really start thinking about managing your negative thoughts. So, for example, instead of thinking, I am going to fail at this project, you can reframe that. I've worked hard and I'm doing my best, which is enough. The goal is to replace a negative thought with a balanced and realistic one because your mind wants to believe you. And so it needs to be something that is realistic and honest, not just a fantasy, right? So I'm going to fail this project. Oh my gosh, that's such a negative. How am I going to reframe that? I've worked hard and I'm doing my best. That is enough, or which is enough. All right, so that's the reframing. It takes practice to reframe. And so, although I'm giving that quick example, think about reframing from the perspective of challenging the negative with a positive reality that you can manage and or believe, right? So, reducing anxiety and giving your mind a more accurate, honest, compassionate perspective is going to help you. So, cognitive reframing. And then the last one, but not well, the last one for today, because I can do both of them. The next one is physical movement. You hear me talk about this a lot. Sometimes the best way to manage stress is to move your body. Get up, take a walk, dance, do some movement, stretch, Um, for me, literally, it's walking, stretching, dancing, and I gave those all as my yoga. Just movements that can help you to track your body and give your body a sensation that allows for you to be back in it and back on track away from the stress. So give yourself some movement. That does not mean you have to take a whole day and walk around the world. You might just need to get up from your desk, walk to the bathroom, get up from your desk and walk, get up from your desk and walk to the window. Whatever it is, try to get that movement as part of your response to your stress. Now, in terms of practicing movement, you do want to start to create things like yoga routines, stretching routines, meditation and mindfulness routines that might actually be about scanning your body, which we're not going to get into today, and giving you the opportunity to relax as you do so. I will link somewhere in here the actual body scan that is in our already on our channel. If you are interested, you can go and do that, and I walk you through one. The next thing is set boundaries and prioritize your self-care. I talked about self-care last week and how important it is to think about the areas that you need to recharge and to reset and to be your best self. Lastly, that setting boundaries is going to allow for you to be your best self and to prioritize yourself and your relationships that matter. So now that we've covered some powerful tools, even though they were brief, I want you to think about one that you can practice over this week. So is it the deep breathing? I'm going to practice the 4-4-4? Is it going to be the 5-4-3-2-1, where it's a grounding technique? Or am I going to do one thing around setting boundaries or cognitive reframing? Just choose one for me. And I want you to practice all week long. Let's do this together. We are stronger together. And so in the comments, I'd love for us to know which tool you are planning to try and or if it was helpful, depending on when you've done it, or if you're watching this back or coming back to the channel. Please let me know which one is helpful, which one helped you in the past. Any of those things in the comment can help encourage others to start taking care of and looking at their anxiety and stress as something they can learn to manage or have. Also, remember, there is no shame in reaching out to a therapist. Of course, it isn't, because I'm one, right? There's no shame in reaching out to a therapist or a counselor in your area to make these tools very specific to your individual struggles around stress and anxiety. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Share with someone who can benefit. Managing stress and anxiety is a journey, so do not think there's this area of a perfection that you have to reach within a week, but make sure that you're practicing and trying some of the tools so that you can take control and mind your manners, or let you know that your mind matters. Until I see you again, take good care of yourselves. Y'all be well.